I'm Lisa Marie, and welcome to my channel, Living My Best Life.
If this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here. And all of my subscribers, you are the best. Let's get started. DIY number 1. For this DIY, I'm going to use a gift bag from Dollar Tree. I just love the red truck, and my husband actually requested that I make this for him. I had made this other one for someone in the family, and he wanted one too to hang above his desk. So I'm just cutting it out, getting rid of the part that says Happy Holidays and the little trim. And I got this piece of like MDF board for free from Lowe's in their scrap wood pile, and I can make mini signs out of this. So I just measured enough to put a border around it. I scored it with a blade, and then I'm going to sand the edges to make sure that it's nice and smooth. And it was just thin enough to be able to do that. And I'm using my little Ladybug vacuum that I got on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description if that's something you're interested in. And now I'm going to take some red acrylic paint, and I'm going to paint the entire front of the sign in the red. And it looks so messy because I used a brush that was way too small. So then I got out my little foam brush and smoothed it. And now I'm going to attach my little sign with Mod Podge. And I'm kind of just placing it and then lifting up the edges so that it doesn't move and I can get it exactly where I want it. And I'm going to go over the top as well and cover it generously with the Mod Podge. If you watch my channel regularly, you see me doing this little trick with the saran wrap, putting it over the top of the Mod Podge using my brayer, which is just a little roller. I'll link that in the description as well if you're interested. And that just really helps smooth everything out, make sure there's no bubbles. I want this to look old and worn, and so I'm going to use some burnt umber paint by Apple Barrel. And as you can see, I'm dry brushing, which means I'm putting a very small amount on my brush, wiping most of it off, and then dabbing it all around. And as I go, you can see how it's starting to look kind of dirty and distressed. And now I'm going in onto the truck itself and being very intentional about where I put the burnt umber paint to make it look rusted and old and worn. Now I want this to look like wood planks, so I think I did 1.5 inches or so, I drew a line with a pencil, and then I'm going to go in with that same color burnt umber, and I'm going to create those lines and smudge them up and make it look like wood planks. I love this effect. It really makes the sign look extremely rustic, and I carry it over all the way to the edge where the red border is, because I want it to look like that's what it is. It's just planks of wood with a picture on it. And I love this effect, and I'm going to go a little slow here and there so you can see what I'm doing, and then I speed it up when we get to the other parts. I'm going to use the bag handle, and I'm going to hot glue that on the back, and it's just the right color with the green, and I'm going to use a little piece of buffalo check ribbon to cover up the hot glue, and there it is. Oh my gosh, you guys, I really love this. My husband is crazy about it, and I'd love to hear what you think. It's probably one of my favorite things I've ever made so far, and I'm so excited about it. I'd love for you to join me on my channel by hitting that subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you'll always know when I have a new video. I do all kinds of DIYs, gardening in the summer, and just fun topics. Definitely hit the like button and leave me a comment. That helps my channel grow so much, and I really appreciate it. DIY number 2. Okay, warning ahead, this is going to go really fast only because I've made something very similar before, and a lot of people requested that I do it different, and my mom wanted one, so this is a request from her. So I'm not showing you how I made the tassels, but I will link a video with very specific instructions. I cut 2 pieces of burlap, hot glued them together, made a bunch of tassels in order to create a Christmas tree, and I am just hot gluing them right onto the burlap, and that's basically my support. And I took a little star from the Dollar Tree, little wooden ornaments, and I hot glued that to the top. Now I'm taking a craft stick, cutting it to size. I'm going to use Waverly Antique wax, and I'm going to stain that and wipe off the excess and let that be the trunk of the tree. Now I'm going to hot glue that to the base of the tree, and I'm going to trim the edges of the burlap. And I'm using some rose gold paint by Folklore, and I did the little star at the top, and then I cut apart these little metallic gold berries from Dollar Tree from a pick, and I'm going to go ahead and paint them with that same rose gold because I wanted to tone down the gold and make it just a little softer with the rose gold. And then I've got these little teeny Christmas present sticker things made out of wood from the Dollar Tree, and I'm using the rose gold on them. And then to paint the bow, I made a combination of apple barrels, burnt umber, and the rose gold. And that's what I did those little ribbons with. And I'm hot gluing that to the bottom of the tree to have the little presents underneath. And now I'm going to take a piece of cardboard, because I love to do that instead of buying foam board, and it's just good for recycling, and I have tons of boxes. And I'm going to cut it to size, and I'm going to hot glue the burlap on there, and that will become the full-on support for that. And I'm going to shore it up with some craft sticks on the back because the cardboard had a little bit of a crease in it. Now I'm going to take a bunch of craft sticks, I'm going to cut off the rounded edges, and I'm going to figure out how many I need to create a frame around my tassel tree. And that's what I'm doing right now. Then I'm going to stain them all with the Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm going to wipe off the excess as I usually do. And then I'm going to fill in the little gaps where I just didn't quite make it, and I'm going to put extra hot glue on the back to, secure it. And I had one little gap, so I made a little mini piece to stick in there. And now I'm adding one more layer of the Waverly Antique Wax because I thought it just needed a little bit more depth. Now, after the fact, I created a little base for it to stand upright by using some Jenga blocks, which you can't see, but I just wanted to mention that. And here it is. It's all finished. I added a little bit of the rose gold on the end of the tassels too, just for that shimmer. I'm loving this. I hope you guys like it. My mom adores it, and it was so fun to make this rustic tree. I just wanted to let everyone know that I am on social media. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Same name, Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie, and I hope to see you over there. DIY number 3. Well, this was another request. My mom wanted a wreath for her door. A lot of the people in her building have them. So I know she likes blingy things, so I took this kind of basket wreath form from the Dollar Tree. I used my rose gold paint from Folklore, and I just started painting it. Now, I wasn't going for like 100% full coverage, but I wanted to get quite a bit on there, both sides. And then I have this gift bag from the Dollar Tree, so pretty, and it says Noel. I'm going to cut out the one side, and then I'm going to grab a planter from the Dollar Tree and measure a circle so that I have at least a starting of a shape that would work. And I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to see how that would fit like in the wreath, because I want to be able to switch out seasonal type little signs in there and then just have the floral and everything for whenever. And I used some skewers to create a backing that would allow the sign to stay in there and not fall out, but still be removable. And that works out just fine. I did do a little extra trimming. And then I found these gorgeous kind of glam Christmassy or just glam flowers in general with the gold berries. Whenever I see these glam flowers, I think of my friend Antoinette, and her channel is called Simple Yet Chic, and she does the most high-end glamorous stuff. I'll put a link to her channel in my description if you want to check it out. It's gorgeous. I'm going to cut them up into individual pieces so that I can place them exactly where I want. The nice thing is they stuck right in there in that basket weave of the wreath form, and all I had to do was trim any pieces that stuck out of the bottom, like the stems. And I was able to, make a variety of florals together on one side, and then I'm going to kind of repeat that on the other side so that it has a similar look, and it will go up about to the halfway point around the wreath when you're looking at it, from a horizontal standpoint. Now, I don't actually hot glue the flowers down all the way, just a couple little pieces that were sticking up in ways that I didn't want them to, and I want them to lay nice and not flat, but just in a sort of symmetry way on the wreath, and I think that will hold everything and make it very secure. But I could take it apart later if I really want to. Now I'm going to trim off those little pokey edges of the skewers that were still kind of sticking out, and then I'm going to apply some hot glue at each of those points because I do want those to stay. No matter what I do to the wreath later, I'll want those. So now I'm going to make it a little festive, and I got these little bells. I think they come in like a 9-pack from the Dollar Tree, and I took a different skewer, and I'm going to use that same rose gold paint, and I'm just going to use a little makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree and apply it on there lightly just to get rid of that bright shine. And then these two little snowflake with sticker on the back from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the stickers and use that same rose gold paint and paint both sides. And then I'm going to get my Epsom salts out again, if you remember that from a previous video. Again, I'm going to, after putting some glue on top, I'm going to sprinkle the Epsom salts over the top, and that will serve as like a fake snow effect. And that's what I'm doing right now. I have this very thin kind of a silver ribbon. You can actually see through it. It's either from Dollar Tree or Walmart. I can't remember now, but it was cheap. And I'm going to figure out how long I want to hang the bows down and then cut a piece of that. Now I'm stringing the bells down. So now I'm stringing the bells on there. It's kind of like my bow in this one. And I'm going to hang them and decide how that's going to look. And at first I think about adding the snowflakes, and then I decide to do that a little different as we go forward here. I'm going to attach them by tying a knot at the back and then just see how they're hanging right below the wreath. And then I'm going to hot glue that in place, and then I'm going to trim off the little edges because there's just no reason for that to stick up right there. Now I did make the bells kind of close to each other and tight because I didn't want them ringing all the time when you barely touch the door. That would get really annoying. So I just wanted them to ring a little bit and just be a little bit, you know, holiday cheer. And this is when I decided I'm going to add the snowflakes right above the two bells. And I thought that looked really cute. And now I'm going to create a hanger, and I'm going to hot glue that to the back using that same ribbon. And then I'm going to cut a little teeny piece of a popsicle stick and paint it the rose gold. And I'm going to put that right over the ribbon just to hold it in place. And that's it for this one. It's done. My mom loves it. It looks great on her door. She's gotten compliments, and it's just blingy enough, but at the same time I can change out the little sign in there for winter and, you know, for whatever season it is, and it should be a lot of fun. I know once the spring comes, I'll just make her a new one. And last but not least, DIY number 4. Now this one is so easy. I'm going to make some holiday pillows using placemats from the Dollar Tree and a pair of pajama bottoms that my mom didn't want anymore that had kind of a, you know, wintry, Christmassy feel to them. And I'm going to use hot glue. I can sew, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to put the wrong sides together on this first one, and I'm going to hot glue all but one side, one of the long sides. And I already had a pillow at home, so this is only going to cost me $2. And I had these pillows from years ago from IKEA. They're really small ones. And now I'm going to put the pillow inside, hot glue the edges, and that's it. This pillow's done. And we have a cute two-sided pillow. One side says Merry Christmas with the Christmas tree, and the other one has the red truck and the snowman. I love it. And I am going to show you one other way to do this, and just because I wanted to show you with those pajama bottoms. They're so cute and it's so easy. I determined that one leg at the upper part was wide enough to do the side of the pillow, so I just ripped open the seam on the leg and then cut it off and then measured over the top, you know, how much would cover the pillow. There is a seam down the middle, but I don't even care. I love the gray plaid. It's so cute. And then I have another placemat with the red truck and the snowman. And on this one, I put right sides together, so I'll have to turn it right side out before I can stuff it. As you can see, I am using the hot glue right along the edge there, and I'm only going to leave open a smaller side, but not even the whole side. I'm going to trim off the excess fabric that's sitting there so it's not kind of lumpy on the edges. Turn it right side out, and now I opened up one of those pillows from IKEA, and I'm going to actually manually stuff it. This way I can determine how much I want in there. That'll make this pillow a little bit more squishy and pliable, which is nice to have one of those around too. And there it is. And I got to tell you, one of my little dogs has adopted this pillow as her own. And this is Bella. And here is that first pillow with the snowman and the Christmas trees and the red truck on the front. And then on the back side, we've got the Christmas tree and the holly and the presents, and it says Merry Christmas. And I really love this two-sided pillow. And now here's a last look at the red truck sign that I made for my husband, the tassel tree that I made for my mom, and the wreath that I made for my mom. You guys, I enjoyed making these. I sure hope you like them, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and definitely give this video a like, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Until then, you are a blessing.